All right, guys, what is up? So today I'm talking about the 5 most important things you have to be doing as a garage door company online. And so this specifically revolves around you showing up in AI search. Okay. If you haven't looked for yourself recently and looked what ChatGPT, Perplexity, and the Google AI answer says about your company, you need to do it right now. In fact, you can pause the video, go Google yourself in AI mode, and then come on back. All right, so let's get into it. So right now, and you've heard me mention this before, number one, and these aren't really going to be in any particular order. They all are very important. But number one on the list, again, is the BBB. I still can't believe that we're talking about this, but it is in 2025 right now, it is worth paying the money and getting a listing on the Better Business Bureau and getting your business accredited. And the reason why, if you go onto any of these AI platforms and start looking for companies, you will see that your review and your rating of the company is pulled into the AI search, into the AI answers as a ranking factor. So super important. All right. Number 2, another one I can't believe we're talking about. One of the most irritating companies in the world is Yelp. Yes, you need to actively be getting reviews on your Yelp account. So here's a little tidbit. Once you get active on Yelp, the sales guys are going to start calling you and calling you. And if any Yelp guys are watching this, I'm sorry, but you guys are relentless. You're great on your follow-up, but your paid programs are horrendous. So when you get your Yelp account going, and if you haven't made one yet, go make one. Don't pay anything. You just want a free Yelp account. Or if you haven't been active on your Yelp account in a really long time and you start being active, they notice and they're going to start calling. Don't answer the phone when Yelp calls you. Okay. They are so good on the phone and they're relentless and persistent, and you'll get on the phone. And the other thing is you don't want to be rude to a Yelp person because they'll tank your account. But again, if you go into the AI modes, Chat, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, all of them, you'll see that the company's rankings in the AI results are directly impacted by your Yelp reviews. So we all lived the last 4 or 5 years that Google reviews are the most important things. They're still super important, but don't forget about Yelp. And while we're talking about reviews, get your Facebook mentions and reviews, right? Super, super important too. You should be asking every customer for a Google review and a Yelp review and a social media review. And if one of your clients has left you a review in the past on Google, hey, reach back out. And you can actually say, hey, Mrs. Jones, I really appreciate that review you left for me last year. And the world's really gone crazy and this AI thing is taken over. Would you mind leaving me a Yelp review? Most of these clients don't mind doing it. But you got to be persistent, right? Because how many times do we ask for reviews and people just don't do it? But if you're using something like Nice Job or Bird Eye or some type of automation where you're following up with a CRM or automated text, ultimately they do help you increase the amount of reviews you're going to get. Okay. All right. Next after that, Reddit. Now Reddit is definitely a challenge here because you can't just go on there and start promoting your business. You've got to be more sly about it. So you want to create yourself a Reddit account. You want to join a couple subreddits in topics that interest you. And for, since we're talking about garage doors, go on there and start answering questions for people who post questions about garage doors, right? So when you're sitting around for 5 minutes in the morning or on a Saturday, go into Reddit, start looking for people who are asking questions on how to pair a remote. Can I do my own weather stripping? How do I insulate my door? How do I fix a broken spring, right? And tell them, hey, it's really dangerous to fix a broken spring on your own. That is something that you should actually call for. I can understand you doing weather stripping, but the broken spring, no. And you want to start leaving and answering lots of comments. And the reason you want to do a lot of them is because at some point, you're going to get an opportunity to promote yourself. And your comment with your own company link or brand mention will be deleted by the moderators unless you have shown that you add value to the subreddit and the group that you're in. So one of the ways you can do this is, let's say you're on Reddit and you've answered 25, 30 comments, right? And that's a lot of work, but I'm telling you, the Reddit account, a Reddit backlink is so important. So you're going to go and start answering 25, 30 comments. And you could probably get away with this a little bit less. But then in one of these comments, when someone asks a question, you're going to say, hey, I'm the owner of such and such company. You're going to put your website address in, and then you're going to answer the question and say, this is what I teach my guys to do. Whether it's talking about a remote, a keypad, a sensor, right? You can like, how many people post on Reddit about how do I fix a sensor that doesn't close my door? My door is stopping, right? So one of the common questions, I'm looking right at it right now on my screen, is my door won't go down. I can't tell what's wrong with it. So who here gives a checklist to their tech about, hey, the 5 things you got to check to see why your door won't go down? Obviously, number one is usually something to do with the sensor, unless it's really broken. So you can say, hey, I'm the owner of, such and such company, and this is what I teach my guys. I've been doing this for 20 years, and this is the first thing I do. I tell them to check A, check B, then check C, right? That's a great way to get in the Reddit. Now, of course, you can go onto one of the SEO marketplaces and just out and out and buy a link to Reddit, but those carry their own set of risks. Sometimes when you buy those links, they don't stay because, again, they're people posting in, they're mass posting. They're putting a lot of links on there, and the moderators of the subreddits will come in and sometimes delete the accounts. Okay. So we talked about BBB. We talked about Yelp, talked about Reddit. So let's talk about a press release. If you haven't been running press releases for your business, you need to start right now. And I'm not talking about going to your local paper and saying you hired someone. Typically for this, you're going to have to spend a couple $100 or work with like a genuine SEO company to get this type of stuff, get this done. There are services out there where just anyone can buy a press release. One of them would be 38 Digital, Randy, the news guy. He has a great service out there, and anyone can go on and register and buy a press release. So for $150 to $200, you're able to get a press release that runs anywhere from 300 to 500 news outlets. So you're probably saying to yourself, but man, I don't have anything that's press worthy. Anything you do is press worthy in the world of SEO and press releases. So think of all the towns that you cover, right? If you're adding a new town to your website, it's a perfect reason for a press release. Hey, we're now servicing Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Orlando Garage Door Incorporated has now expanded to cover, trying to think of a town in, right outside of, Walt Disney World. Where's Legoland? Winter Haven, right? Hey, Orlando Garage Door Incorporated is now servicing Winter Haven, Florida, right? That's for a press release. Have any of your guys or you gone to training? Hey, Bobby from Orlando Garage Door just attended the IDA conference in Las Vegas. He blah, 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 learned these couple things. And what's great is these companies will actually write the press release for you. You just tell them the idea and they'll write it for you. Or again, if you're working with an SEO company, they will be pumping these out every 4, 6, 7 weeks at a time. If you got a great testimonial or review, or if you ever been put on a best of list, right? So who here's got a local like online magazine in their town where you won the best of 2025, the best of 2024? That's a press release. Hey, and this is where if you ever someone comes to you and wants to you to sponsor like Little League, a 5K, or some type of event, man, if they're only looking for $100 or $200, you should do it. So here is my criteria for sponsoring local events. This sounds terrible. Unless your heart is really into it, then it doesn't matter. Just give the money. But if you're trying to do it to help your brand, never give money and sponsor anything that doesn't have a website. So any type of local event, if they have a website, the deal has to be that you get listed on their website as a sponsor, because then it becomes a legit, powerful backlink for a real event in your city. So a backlink like that is totally worth the $100, $200 to get listed on one of these, nonprofit things for an event. Golf outings for a school, 5Ks, dog walks, fun runs, any like local softball teams, like say if the retirement village or community around you has a softball team, that's always worthwhile. If there's homeless shelters, anything that will take a donation that has a website that will list you as a sponsor, man, you have to do it. It's awesome. Okay. And then again, you can also take it to the next level with the press release. I started talking about the fifth link with this local, but we'll combine these two. If you sponsored a 5K or you sponsored a Little League team, then run a press release. Hey, Central Garage Door and Gate Repair is proud to announce that we're sponsoring the 2025, such and such Little League team. Get a picture of the kids. And like I said, these companies will write the press release for you. You just got to tell them what the gist of it is. So when you order a press release, typically you get to have anywhere from 2 to 3 links in it that come back to your website. So you always want to link back to your main service area page, right? Wink, wink. Everyone should have a service area page with all your cities listed. You want to come back and link to your main service page, right? Got a page, excuse me, that lists out all your services, a link there, and then start linking to your individual location pages. Okay. So like if you serve St. Augustine, Florida, and you're based in Jacksonville, you want to start building links to all the surrounding areas. Okay. All right. So talking about press releases, I kind of start talking about local links, but let's talk about that now. Who here as a garage door owner has ever installed a garage door for a realtor, either for the realtor themselves or a realtor's client, right? Okay. Most realtors have a website if they're good. And most of them, if they're smart, have like a local resource tab on their website where they list local companies that they trust. Man, that is a great backlink to get. You don't, and even if you haven't worked with a realtor, Google realtor, plus your city and state, like wherever you guys live, take the top 10, 15 realtors, go to their website and see, do they have a local service page, with where they list like, hey, here's our preferred plumber. Here's our preferred HVAC company, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Reach out to them. Say, hey, I'm a garage door installer right here. What do I have to do to get listed on your website? That is a great link. And if they're already like a top realtor, where if you Google realtor plus city and they're showing up, they're probably getting legit traffic and maybe even buying some Google ads. So a link from them is super powerful. Second thing with a realtor is if you don't see that local resource page on there, but they're blogging, right? They've got a bunch of articles about the local area. Ask if you can write an article for their website about garage door repair, maintenance, tips, tricks, all that kind of stuff, and just get author credit, right? You write it. And today with the AI, you can write a really, really great article that won't embarrass you, even if you only write at like a 3rd grade level. Bunch of morons that will watch this sometimes, right? I know we always get made fun of that we're goofballs. But you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a good writer, have someone write it for you. Use the AI. It'll be fine. Other local links you can get. Man, it is so worth paying for the Chamber of Commerce if they have a website and get listed. Chamber of Commerce in most cities is anywhere from like $100 to $300. Definitely worth it. So when you're talking about pricing, if you were to go out and buy a backlink, right? So you went to a backlink store. Yes, there is such a thing when in the world of SEO, there are places to go where you can actually buy backlinks. A really decent backlink that is high caliber, clean, not spammy is going to cost you $200 to $300. So, and then they don't always last. They only last a year or two sometimes, but your subscription to the Chamber of Commerce, it's hyper local. Google and the search engines, they love it. They see it. They see the connection. So it's totally worth spending the money on there. Okay. Talking about realtors in your area. How many other buddies are contractors? Is your buddy or like a partner company or someone you know, a plumber, HVAC, an electrician, taxi service, painting, roofer, whatever it is? Do they have a local resource on their page? Now, if not, you can offer to write it, or you can reach out to their SEO guy, right? For the most part here, let's be honest, there's no one on the front page of Google, the first page and a half, that isn't working with an SEO company. And if you were to send an email saying, hey, I'm a painter in, the same town as your client, and I want to put a local resource on my website to list a couple companies, and I would list yours. Man, dude, they will do it for you. I know if someone said that to me, man, I would do that in a heartbeat because it's hyper local. Okay. And then the other thing with local links, are there business directories in your city? A great way to look for this would be to put in city plus state and the word business directory and just see what comes up. Just see, what comes up in the results and see if you can get your business listed there. They might be countywide, citywide, or statewide. And half the time they're free, or they want a small yearly fee, right? So I know where I am in South Carolina, in Charleston, there's a big business directory. And I think it's like 25 or $50 a year. Man, I've had that link for at least 5 or 6 years, and we buy them multiple times for clients all throughout the area. It's so worth it because those legit sites, they get a lot of traffic. Okay. Talking about a couple more local links. We talked about getting sponsorships, realtors, other guys in the business, and we talk about business directories. And the last part of local links would be your mass directories, right? So before we just Googled city plus state and the word directory, and you find some hyperlocal ones. Now you're just looking for regular directories, yellow pages, business 123, proven expert, anything where you can list your company name, your address, your phone number, and your website on like a legit. Now there's a lot of directories out there that are kind of garbage and shady. You want to make sure that it's legit. And when you look at it, you can tell like there's real pictures, there's real businesses. Sometimes they're selling an ad. And of course, as we're talking about local links and we're talking about this, are you on the industry directory, right? Most of you guys watching this know that I run Garage Door Galaxy. I think at this point, I'm probably the largest directory for garage door installers in the United States. I focus on independently owned garage door installers. So I don't let the franchise guys in unless they register and I don't catch it. But a directory like that is in the industry, Google sees it and identifies that, oh, hey, this is a legitimate backlink and this makes sense, right? Because what we're trying to do is create a footprint around your business that makes sense to the search engines. If you're a local business, you're going to have links from the Better Business Bureau. You're going to have a Google business profile. You're going to have local links from being active in the community. They're going to see press releases. They see this as a footprint like, hey, you sponsored the local kids soccer team. Hey, you sponsored, the jingle jog at Christmas. You donated to the food drive, right? Google sees all this and they put it all together. And that is right there one of the ranking factors. How strong is your digital footprint? Cool. All right. So let's recap real quick. We're going to run down one more time. BBB, go ahead, pony up the money. Yelp, get a free account. Reddit, set up a Reddit account, answer a bunch of questions, and then slyly insert your website at one point without seeming too salesy. Going to run a press release. Remember, Randy, 38 Digital, you can use them. And then you're going to get local links, as many as you possibly can. Now, this all seems like a ton of work. Obviously, it is. So, if you've got a couple trucks running, you can have the office manager do it. Or again, the point, a lot of people are like, why do you end up making these videos when I give away all this information? Because there's a guy right now watching this who's like, man, I'm too busy for this. I'm not doing it. I would like to talk to you. So I do client work, right? I talk a lot about this stuff on YouTube. I want to help people, but I do client work. So if you're interested and need some help, man, I would love to talk to you. I primarily focus on working with garage door guys. All right. So I hope you found this helpful and we'll catch you next time. Have a great day.